let's get started. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Moiseeva Margarita, and I'm a student at the Russian State University of Czech.
The next 10 minutes I'm going to be telling you about marriage law in Israel.
My presentation includes 3 big parts.
First part is basic information about marriage and divorce.
The next part includes court system and sources of law, and third part and final part includes prenuptial agreements and court practice.
First of all, I would like to tell you about marriage. Marriages in Israel are performed under the auspices of the religious authority of the religious community to which couples belong.
Israel makes no provision for civil marriages to be entered in Israel. However, civilian marriages, including same-sex marriages, are recognized by the state.
Let's turn our attention to the point who can marry. Christians marry in their respective churches.
Muslims unite according to Islamic law, and Jews must go for the chief rabbinate. According to Israel law, all Jews must marry through their rabbinates according to the rules of Jewish law. Consequently, couples who are not permitted to marry under laws such as interfaith couples, same-sex couples, and others who cannot marry cannot be recognized by the state as married.
Let's now talk about regulatory framework. The primary sources of law in Israel in matters of family law is found both in common law and in statutes.
Common law in Israel has its roots in English precedent. Statutory law in Israel is bifurcated into civil and religious law because Israel maintains a system of concurrent jurisdiction between religious and the civil courts. Legislation entered during the British Mandate period is still in force today. The Palestine Order in 1922 determines matter of personal status according to the religious application of each individual. The order includes in a list of recognized religious common in Israel.
Let's move on to sources of law. There are several acts of significance in matrimonial matters. For example,
the Spouses Law 1973 encodes many of the principles that existed under the relevant case law. The Legal Custody and Guardianship Law 1962 determines the relationship between parents and children, and last one, the Family Amendment Law 1959 establishes the process of the application to pay child support.
The next point is the court system.
The Family Court Act 1995 establishes a system of family courts. All matters involving family members are litigated at the family courts, and all proceedings in the family court are held behind closed doors.
The next part of my presentation is the divorce process.
The divorce process in Israel for married people or Jewish faces is administered by the Great Procedure and finalized by rabbinical judges. The 1973 Spouses Property Relation Act official defined what assessment would be divided after divorce or if one of the spouses dies, unless they both agreed beforehand. An amendment was later added to the 1973 law in 2008 to ensure the property would be divided equally among both spouses before the divorce rather than after.
Let's now turn to prenuptial agreements. The Division of Spousal Property Law 1973 authorizes parties to sign prenuptial agreements.
Prenuptial agreements can be ratified before the marriage by the family court, religious court, and notary, and the person authorized to perform marriage. However, the court have recognized prenuptial agreements that were not ratified as valid under contract law.
And the last part of my presentation is the court practice. The family court in Israel has addressed the issue of a prenuptial agreement that was not ratified by the court as required by law.
The applicant appealed to enforce the postnuptial agreements against the estate of her deceased former spouse. The heirs of her deceased former spouses challenged the application. The court upheld the application claims. It ruled that although the agreement was not court ratified as required by law, courts may give partial effect to postnuptial agreements based on legal principles of contract law.
In my opinion, Israel is a rather democratic state because it gives the right of choice.
Today's strict societal norms regarding how and with whom one must marry no longer hold true. If Israel are unable or unwilling to marry via the chief rabbinate, they have the option of taking a short plane trip to Cyprus or Bulgaria, tying the knot to a civil ceremony, and obtaining their recognition.
I used these sources, and it's the end of my presentation. Thanks for your attention.